Welcome to the Honesty Club podcast.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Sarah Joy.
We've been friends for over a decade, and at this point, we've talked about everything.
Each week, we'll take a hot topic and give our honest takes. And even better, we're inviting you to be a part of the conversation by submitting your stories and thoughts.
Laugh a little, learn a little, and even feel free to disagree.
You're invited to join the Honesty Club. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Honesty Club.
What's up, everyone?
We are in a different spot today. We're on vacation.
Yeah, we're on location. Wow.
Vacation.
Yeah.
We didn't pack everything that we should have packed, so I'm wearing a lapel mic.
It works. It
might sound a little bit differently because it's probably picking up on some background audio.
Yeah.
Because this was like a $12 microphone, so.
Really? It's cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Makes you look legit, honestly.
Kelly looks
and
like
I
she's
look like I'm about to sing.
Karaoke.
And you know, it's on brand because we do sing a lot in this podcast, so.
Although
I think it works out.
Some of us should not, but it's all good.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different things going on right now. We got different mics.
Yeah.
We've got
different locations. Our chairs do swivel, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Girls.
Yeah.
We are, just making it work.
Exactly.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we've got a cool little setup in here.
Yeah.
So we were like, it's a great time for a video podcast.
Yeah. So. This is a bedroom, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's a huge
you'd
bedroom.
Never know.
Huge bedroom. Anyway, so we're on vacation right now. You want to tell them what we've done? It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, we've done a lot of water activities.
Different type of trip. We usually go somewhere, far away. This time we did a little roadie, and we went to Hill Country, Texas, and it has been a great time.
It's been a blast. We've gone tubing.
Yeah. In
some great water. We did some, whitewater rafting, practically.
Yeah.
We
did tubing, and then we went to a lake yesterday.
Yeah, we went to another lake. The lake was beautiful.
It looked like
the water,
Italy.
Blue.
Yeah.
Crystal. There was rocks. Yeah, people were jumping off this big rock.
Yeah.
It really did look like we were
I really wanted to jump off the cliff.
The
no one would jump with me, and then Peter forbid me. So, I gotta still try to live out that dream.
Yes. But maybe we can go back.
I truly hope so. Redemption.
So, but it's been a great time. The weather's been beautiful.
Yeah.
No rain or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's been hot, but there's been a breeze.
I know, it's so nice.
We're kind of out, in the country, and so it gets really, really dark at night. And last night we saw the stars.
Yeah, they were big and bright.
So many stars.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah, that was a blast.
And then this morning, this is more my story than yours, so I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
This morning, first of all, we didn't take a nap yesterday after all that lake time. And so we both crashed out. I was expecting to wake up at 7:38 and call it a relaxing morning. I woke up at 9. I was like, oh my gosh, I just slept like a rock. So anyway, we start to go outside, and there's a horse in the backyard.
A whole horse.
Oh my gosh, there's a horse. And I walked right up to it. It was just standing there staring me in the eyes, and I petted it. It was a horse miracle.
What a day.
It was great.
And then I walked out of the bedroom, and she's like, there's a horse.
I was like, horse, go get your shoes.
And then I saw it from afar, but I didn't get to pet it.
Yeah.
But maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll come out for breakfast.
I know.
Again.
I know. That would be...
That'd be a good
unreal.
day right there.
Yeah.
So that's fun. It's been an adventure.
Absolutely. And today we're going to another natural spring kind of...
We have reservations.
Situation.
So
yeah.
We're recording this in the morning, and then we'll go at 2.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited to see that one. It's called Blue Hole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
No, it's Blue Hole in Wimberley. So if you ever want to go, you have to make a reservation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of these places, well, not a lot of these places, but a few of these places were reservation places.
Yeah.
And one of them we tried to go to was completely packed. And it's just a normal week. There's no holidays this week. It's not the 4th of July or anything like that. And we missed out on it.
Yeah.
Or do we not? Is this the same one?
This is the day.
This is the day.
We tried to get reservations for it 2 days ago, and it was filled up.
And it said 40 available, and then literally
it was
seconds.
Gone. So you got to be on it.
But
and
is
then
summer.
Yesterday we were at Canyon Lake, which is what looked unreal. It looked like Italy. And so we got there at like, I don't know, 11 maybe?
12.
Or 12. Anyway, yeah, we were parking like 11:45 maybe. Got down there at 12 something and started swimming. And then we left at like 3:30 and it was blocked off. Like there were never a lot of people there, but I guess they decided it was at capacity and they blocked off the entrance. So people were walking like 2 miles to get there, like trying to go on foot because they didn't let any more cars come through.
That wins me thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so you have to go down this hill to get to the water. You have to
hike to get to it in the first place. But it's up like this huge, like you have to hike up this huge
so
like
on the
dam.
way back to our car, we had to walk up, and
it really
got us. Especially you've been in the sun already. You're like swimming. We were in tubes, so we're like doing this with our arms. Our arms are sore.
Yeah.
And then you have to walk up this hill, and then you're sweating. And then we're driving down, and I see people walking up
for like miles, like legit miles.
Oh heck no!
All in like the bare sun, just Texas heat.
I'm like, I wouldn't want to do both of those things.
Absolutely not.
That's dedication for you. But
yeah,
I guess it was pretty great. So
yeah,
I get it.
It was good. It was good. Right. No regrets.
So I guess it's kind of our life update as well.
Yeah,
we're on vacation. We're having a good time. The boys cooked us breakfast this morning.
They did, by request.
Yeah. Still counts.
The breakfast boys are at it. We watched a Lindsay Lohan movie yesterday. Get a Clue. I had never seen it.
It
was a good time.
Yeah, it was one on Disney Channel, like a Disney Channel movie. And I watched it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cute. I like it. It's just like, when you watch old movies like that, there's
it's fun.
Classic feel to it. Everyone's so wholesome.
Yeah.
These days,
they're
making
it's not the same
cray stuff. This was just like all American teenagers just living their life.
Mm-hmm. And the fashion was something wild. And I don't know. It was pretty good for the first half, I would say. And then the second half started getting cornier.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, the suspense just kind of left.
Well, that's the thing, too.
A lot more.
I think with a Disney Channel movie,
they
can
not
only
make it so intense.
Yeah, they can't be like having murderers and stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was trying to give Nancy Drew.
Right.
But lacked a little bit of the mystery. Because it kind of all started to fall apart at the end, and then you're like, oh, this is it.
Well, the person they thought were murdered was like, hey, guys, I'm doing great. And you're like, wait.
You're like, you're alive?
Yeah.
She was sad that he was alive. She wanted him to be dead.
Well, I saw murder in his eyes. I thought
he did it.
I thought it was
I was remembering the story completely wrong because I thought that it was all planned.
Oh.
And that they had that staged breakup. And that it was going to be like he was trying to run away and they were trying to run away together.
Got it.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
But it all worked out in the end. So.
As Disney Channel movies do.
As they do. I feel like there's a lot that you haven't seen we should watch. Let me tell you. Okay, there's one that I loved to this day. It's called Motocross.
Okay.
It's kind of a She's a Man story, if you will, just not as funny.
Okay.
It's more, heartwarming.
Is it with Amanda Bynes?
No. I say She's a Man story because in the story, the girl dresses up like a guy.
So like Mulan, too.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
Disney loves that. Although they didn't make She's a Man. Anyway, it's about motocross racing.
Okay.
But
what is motocross? I'm sorry.
2 wheels.
A motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so like dirt bike riding or whatever.
Okay.
You know how they go like, ooh, and then do flips and they race?
Okay.
It's that.
Okay.
And essentially her brother is a racer, but she is also. They're twins.
Okay, I'm getting this. She's the man.
They're twins. And then he gets hurt.
Okay.
So he can't compete anymore.
Okay. And it's an all-male competition.
And her dad will not let her compete because she's a girl.
Yeah.
And she decides to take matters into her own hands, and that is all I will say.
Okay. Sounds like it's great. Sounds like a good time.
I say it's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Is it on Disney Plus?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
All right. Maybe. Who's the lead actress?
You wouldn't know them. No one in there I don't think you would know. Okay. They're all like probably one-hit wonders.
Okay.
I don't think I ever saw her again.
All right.
The mom I've seen again. She's actually in some Hallmark movies.
Okay.
But that's it. The dad looks familiar, but I don't know what else he's on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds like a good
It's
time.
a wholesome story.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
It's one of my faves.
Also, Mission Impossible is coming out, so we
Oh,
need to
yeah.
try to figure that out. I don't know.
We probably need to get tickets. Is there even a theater around there?
There's not really. You have to drive for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do it early enough in the day.
Yeah. All that's around here is like drive-in.
Drive-in movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I
fun.
don't really feel like I want to drive in. But
No. Well,
Okay.
if they had Mission Impossible, maybe, but
Yeah, but
I doubt it.
just, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you had a truck, maybe.
Yeah, you could turn it around.
Right.
Actually, well, we couldn't all fit. But anyway. Yeah.
You and I
Okay.
will go.
So good times.
Yeah. Today we're talking about liars.
Liar,
It's
liar.
gonna be a good.
That boy's a liar.
It's gonna be a good one. How do you want to start this? Do you want to talk about why you shouldn't lie, or how to spot a liar?
Oof. You know. Okay, let's dive into how to spot a liar, because
I'm ready.
I don't know if I 100% know.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like sometimes intuition, it tells you.
Sure, but sometimes it's like retrospect. There you go. Sometimes it's in retrospect that you're like,
Yes.
oh, those were the signs.
Yes, exactly. And then sometimes they're just blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know that it's a lie because you've heard the truth elsewhere.
Right.
So then you're like, okay.
You're like, let's just see where they take this.
Yeah, like, how far will they lie to me? And then you start, like, using probing questions to just see if you can catch them fully in the lie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What would you say?
Okay. So, I mean, I think if something sounds like unreal, just in the first place.
Absolutely.
A lot of people exaggerate for,
Yeah.
one, to like rally people to their side, or two, to be captivating,
Yes.
or even funny. Like, I get, telling a story and you exaggerate it so
Yes.
that it's funny.
Right.
And I wouldn't necessarily categorize that as lying unless you're trying to, like, be deceptive. Like, I
Yes.
think after the story, you'd be like, no, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like,
Yeah.
I was just putting on to make everybody laugh.
Well, I think that's too, you can spot the difference in that too.
Yeah.
Like, you know when someone's just being like a funny storyteller,
Yeah.
and they might even throw out like, I'm exaggerating the story, but let's just go with it,
Right.
And then someone who's like wants you to truly believe that it's this
Yeah.
big of a story, the big fish story,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So when something sounds like unbelievable, I feel like maybe one, just kind of make a mental note of that and be like, that didn't quite sound right. Second of all, like, if you're comfortable, like, repeat that sentence back to them that sounded unreal.
right? Yeah.
Like, you saw, I don't know, a horse the size of an elephant? Really?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it was this many pounds? And like,
Yeah.
and see if they backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Because sometimes they're just like, or like they really said that to you. They sat you down and they said, I think you're ugly and you should leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
It wasn't exactly like that.
they,
right.
Yeah.
They maybe said this.
Yeah.
But I know what they truly meant.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like adding to the story
Exactly.
too. So, yeah, I think you have to be careful with your own mind as well, because sometimes I think people they truly do believe in their head the story they've made up,
Yeah.
So it's like, no, well, this is what I know that they meant. And you kind of infer things, and you think you're being we've talked about this before, you think you're being so discerning, when really you're just making things up in your head, and you don't even know if that's true.
Yeah.
And so you need to kind of be patient with it. And hey, maybe they did kind of say that in a way,
Yeah.
but is that truly what they said?
Right.
No. I think you can make more enemies in your head by constantly,
Totally.
making stories up that they felt this way or they said this way, or, being paranoid.
Well, like, victimhood will do that to you. Like, if you come in with a victim mindset about just everything,
Oh, yeah.
then you'll always find a story where they're, I don't know, being toxic to you, or
Yes.
doing something underhanded to you, or like you got the short end of the stick, when really it's just like, if you're looking for it, you can find that constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's something to talk about. Maybe that's a whole episode of being the victim and not being the victim, because there's just too many people out there who every little thing, and it's hard to say, like, okay, I kind of want to be like, you're just being sensitive. Right. You can't even say that these days.
Yeah.
It's like, there's got to be another way to frame it.
Sure.
And really, it is being the victim.
Yeah.
If everyone is against you constantly,
yeah,
then you have to ask yourself, am I just being the victim?
Right.
Because I don't feel like I have that many enemies.
Right.
I don't feel like people are constantly out to get me.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like I try to believe the best until further notice.
Yes.
How's it flip so much? You know, like I want to believe that it's good until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Now, there are times where I'm like, okay, that was just blatantly obvious. Like, they're doing this, or they said that to my face, you know, then that's kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I'm not walking around. I think you know when someone's being the victim because they go around to someone who they think can be a powerful influence even to someone else. Mm-hmm. Like maybe that person that they're trying to be victimized by. And they're like, they did this to me. They exaggerate the story. They even lie about it. Mm-hmm. And then they get those people on their side. Yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, that is terrible. They're horrible to you. I can't believe they did that to you. And then they turn around and they're like, we're mad at them now.
Well, because you have to realize, even if you are like, let's say you're a little bit of a liar or an exaggerator, if you're doing it for a purpose of like gaining sympathy, gaining allies, like there is something in it for you to be a victim.
Yeah.
Because you're getting more people on your side. You have a story to tell. You're captivating, you know?
Yes.
Like there is something to be gained from being a victim.
Well, it feels good to have people on your side. It feels good to have them believe you, especially when you're upset.
If you haven't, and I'm not saying like victimhood doesn't exist. Like some people are toxic and some people you are the victim of that. But it's one thing to like make this your whole
identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Draw personality XYZ.
Yes.
Also, like, let's say this one person who you're being victimized by, you know, they have so much power or influence or whatever. Your only way to be more successful than them is to just take them down. Like that's the only power that you have over them is like a he said, she said kind of thing.
And and I think so many times that is what is happening. People are trying to, whether they know it or not, they're competing with someone in their head, and they need to take them down in order to be the best, or to be looked at as the best, or to have their agenda, you know, produced even.
I would say just look for this to know like if somebody's really a victim or not. It's usually a pattern.
Yes.
Like, are you doing the same thing with every person and every place that you've been to?
Right. And let me tell you this, I have seen people get caught up in stories. So
even like all of their exes, all the places they visit, you know, everything.
So there's two sides, you know, and so it's like one person has this story and the other person has this story. And something that I've found to be interesting, and some people don't agree with this, but I've noticed the people who are actually the ones that have been victimized, if you will, or the ones that are actually in the right, they're usually more quiet. And the one that is the playing the victim, the one that's lying, is going around calling people up for 3 hours or whatever, you know, like getting them on their side, rallying people.
Yeah.
And it's never the right, what's the word? Never the right, like, vein of things. Like, if you just be silent, you know, like, God's going to fight for you. Yeah. You don't have to make everyone
or, like,
be on your
things
side.
will come out on their own.
Exactly.
Like, I don't need to, like, put all this energy into defending myself.
The truth really does come out eventually.
Now,
could be years.
If somebody's speaking up and saying something and then they come out with a big, strong, like, I didn't do any of that, blah, 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 and, like, that's suspicious.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they are right for sounding the alarm about
it. Right,
you know?
It really, yeah, I guess it's depends on the case.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too about people who, I think victimhood and liars just go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's just like they leave things out of the story, which is another, I mean, you're omitting things, so it's another lie.
Yeah.
You know, because you want your story to really affect someone.
Yeah.
So you have to leave out your parts.
Yeah.
Where you were wrong.
Yeah.
Because then you'll get the sympathy of people.
Right.
They'll be like, oh, because I remember there was this time, like, someone told me this story. And I was like, they only told me their side. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Like, if that happened, I can't believe it. Like, why?
Yeah.
Then time goes on and I hear from the other people.
Yeah.
And they're telling me their side of the story. And I was like, oh, wait, she left that out.
Yeah.
You know, like, they left out all of these pieces.
I wonder why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, one, I should have asked better questions, I guess.
Yeah.
But two,
do some better interrogation.
you got to remember. And so after that moment, I feel like now you live and you learn, you know? I'm like, okay, every story has multiple sides. What are we missing? What is the other person's story? Especially if you know someone's character, you're kind of like, did that actually happen? Or what is, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, too, that's another factor is when you know somebody and you know their character and you also know their behavior.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you come at me with a story that's like, they say this all the time and they were doing this and this, and I'm like, well, I've never seen them ever say something like that or do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, then it's hard for me to believe that story.
Sure.
In either good or bad, you know?
Sure. Okay, I want to like turn this on ourselves because we're the honesty club. So we're all about being honest, not being liars.
Exactly.
So obviously everybody lies. So I'm not going to pretend like everybody doesn't lie because people do lie. We all lie.
Even on accident.
Even if it's small, even if we think it's innocent, even if we think it's protecting somebody else.
Or yourself.
Lying does happen. So, having said that, you know, how can we practice more honesty? Or like, what do you think are some lies that people commonly tell that, you know, they think are justified, but that shouldn't be?
So I don't know if I have like a specific lie that I think is normal or whatever, but I do know that typically people lie when trying to not or try to get out of something without hurting someone's feelings.
Absolutely.
So like a little lie might be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't come to that thing because I have such and such, when really you just want to like lay on your couch.
You just don't want to go.
Exactly. Or like like someone invites you to something and you don't really like that person, so you're like, I'd rather not hang out with you, I'm so sorry, I have to go here. Or like you kind of just, and I mean some of it could be totally true. You could be really needing to go somewhere or you have something going on, but sometimes I think people are scared, so they either ignore it altogether or they want to lie about it. And I think that's really where lies end up coming out from, is like a fear of someone or some, you know, someone's opinion, or even they've had experiences with them before where they've gotten mad at them, so they're like, how do I, you know, make this easier on myself, and like they won't go off on me,
right?
You know, so if I say something that's different. But I think one thing you have to realize is you have to be honest no matter what. And something I've told myself is, and I think it's kind of a funny response, like you may not totally fully get what I'm saying, but I'm like, you need to be responsible. So you need to take, you know, responsibility for your actions. So if someone is texting you and asks you a question and you need to be honest about it, then don't put it off for 5 days. Take responsibility and just answer right now. You know, because it's very easy to just ignore it. And honestly, that's worse to me. I'm like, I feel terrible if someone just ignores my text for days and they never give me a response, because I know that they like can't. When all you have to do is say, I'm so sorry, I can't. You know, and because then people feel neglected or like you don't care about them. And instead of doing that, just be honest, because most people, there are the few that will not like the honesty.
Mm-hmm.
But most people appreciate honesty.
Yeah.
I think. I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, no problem if you can't make it. You know, like, I'm going to be gracious
Let
to
me
you.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Another thing I think people do is to lie about not being hurt about something, or like, no, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it, when they are like, please worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's so
you're
true.
trying to like either let people off the hook, or like just not bring up something that would be a hard conversation. Not even necessarily a confrontation. I mean, maybe a confrontation, but like just something that you don't want to talk about because it's too sensitive for you or whatever. And so you try to say like, no, that didn't hurt me at all. That didn't bother me at all.
Yes.
Everything is good. And then it's not.
Right.
So.
And you're holding on to that for months, years, decades.
And it's getting worse, you know? So those things are still not like, lying is still not doing you a favor, because it's still a disservice, because you're still hurt.
Yeah.
And they don't know.
Yeah.
So now time can pass, you know?
Well, it is funny because it's kind of the age-old lie that people have told themselves, well, if you lie for a good reason, you're helping someone.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a scenario where that's true. Now, yeah, you might
Surprises. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You might be hurting someone by telling them the truth, but really, it's better to tell them the truth than to let them find out later, which is more hurtful. And then finding out that you did know, hurtful.
Yeah.
You know? Because you think you're going to spare someone's feelings.
Yeah.
But no. Like, I'm more hurt if I find out someone has been lying behind my back about something and then doesn't even tell me.
Yeah.
That's more hurtful than anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, just tell me to my face. I'd rather be hurt straight to my face than have you hurt me behind my back and I find out later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm obviously I'm not saying like I'm perfect at this, or like I never do anything and I never talk to people or I never lie or whatever. But I think to make it a priority in your mind that, okay, even when it's hard, I need to do my best to not lie about this.
Yeah.
I need to be honest with people, because that's how you live with integrity. That's how you build trust. People know I can trust this person. They don't lie to me. You know, like, they're honest with me.
Yeah.
Because the moment you start to lie to me, trust broken, gone.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little bitty thing, you know? I'm like, sketch.
Yeah.
Sus.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing is people who lie on behalf of others to make somebody else that they have a vested interest in look good.
Oh.
This is kind of wild, but I do think it happens.
Oh, yeah. For
Like
sure
lying to make them look good, lying to make them think that they like you.
Yes.
You know, just some bizarre stuff.
Yes.
How do you think you can suss out if somebody's not telling something correctly, you know?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Oh, your boss doesn't hate you. No, he was telling me the other day that he really thinks you're doing a great job and he loves when you come to work. And you're like, I have not gotten that vibe from that person at all.
Okay, back to what I said earlier. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me, you know, this person adores you, they love you so much, they can't stand being outside of your presence.
Right.
But they've never said a single word to me, I'm not going to believe you.
That you just get the opposite.
I'm like, they look like they can't wait to leave my presence.
Right.
So that's hard to believe, you know?
Yeah.
I think, again, people don't realize
I'm like, I don't think he loves me. I think he wants to fire me.
Exactly. People don't realize how actions or body language, how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Even more than words.
Yeah.
Because you can say words all day long and have no action behind them.
I just want to swivel a little bit.
I know. I keep doing it. That's why it's so important to let your actions match up with your words.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. let's talk about somebody who you have caught them in a lot of lies, okay?
Oof. Perpetual liar.
Perpetual liar situation. But they say they have turned a new leaf and they are ready to not lie anymore. How do you know if you can trust them? Is it once a liar, always a liar? Or like, how do you know if it's time to now start taking their stuff as truth?
So I think if this is the first time that they're telling you, okay, I've turned a new leaf, then all you can do is wait it out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trust them with everything. Give them little pieces of trust and see how far they take it.
Yeah.
See, can they not break this glass of trust? If it's the 5th time that they've told you that they're turning a new leaf, that's going to be more difficult to believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's probably not going to happen.
So should you be friends with a liar?
Oof. The thing is, there's subtle liars.
Yeah.
And then there's big liars.
Yeah.
The big liars would be very difficult, I think, to be friends with. But also the subtle liars are hard too.
If you're in a relationship with a liar.
Oh, you should break up. 100%. Yeah. No, definitely. And when I say, I guess it kind of confirms should you be friends with a liar? Probably not. But again, it's hard to suss out sometimes.
What do you do with a liar family member?
That's
I love how I'm just asking questions today.
That's tough because you kind of can't get away from them.
There's a thing I feel like it's like I'm not going to say you can't be in my presence,
right.
But I'm also not going to trust you.
Exactly.
So like, like every day's a new day. Maybe let's see if you do better.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't mean like we are friends. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm your best friend.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, I'm not going to be used by you. I'm not going to be participating in any kind of manipulation or lying that you do.
And unfortunately, you learn your lessons
and
quick.
I'll warn other people like, yeah, don't bank on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you learn your lesson quickly because, you give someone some trust and you think you can trust them and then they, blow that trust. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, now I know.
Yeah.
Where I need to go with it and what I need to do with this information and what not to share with you and what to share with you, and you can live civilly. You can be nice to one another. You can tell. I've always been good at sharing what people think is a lot while actually not sharing anything that, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, if I share this, am I okay with it getting out?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have people that I trust and I can share anything.
Yeah.
But to some people, it's a test. It's like, okay, if I share this, am I okay with someone else knowing it or a group of people knowing it?
Yeah.
And if not, I don't share it.
Yeah.
And if so, I'm like, okay, then you have this information. It won't hurt me if you share it.
Yeah.
But it'll take more time to know if you are trustworthy to even share more.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta test out the waters.
Absolutely.
Because not everyone's trustworthy. And I think that's something you have to remember and also learn. And it also takes time and age.
Yeah.
Because the more you know, the more you're alive, the more people you've been around.
Yeah.
You realize the waters are murky and some people are not trustworthy. And you have to test that out.
Yeah.
Not every person is going to be a reliable source. Right. There's a lot of liars out there.
I agree.
Unfortunately.
Liar.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to know, when how to keep going with liars. Because especially, here's where I think it gets difficult. This person lies a lot, but you've pieced it together through different sources because you've heard this story from this person, this story from this person, and it's just not all adding up. And you've come to the conclusion that, this person lies. But you can't necessarily call them out on it because you've yet to catch them in the act of it.
Right.
That's difficult because then you're just holding on to this, like, I know that you're a liar, but I can't really tell you at the moment because I'd be like breaking someone else's confidence.
Yeah. And then they would get turned on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's tough too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you want to just call them out
Yeah.
and be like, you're a liar.
Okay, let's talk like just in depth about exaggeration, because I feel like that is like a super common one that people do, and they're like, it's not even necessarily a lie, it's just exaggeration. Or I'm just dramatic, you know, that's just how I tell stuff.
Yes.
Like, you know, what's really the harm in that? Or how is that problematic, you know, to go off of? And I think, like, you have to know you can be able to take somebody at their word.
Yes.
So if they said that this person is out to get them, and you're in a relationship with them or you're best friends with them, and you need to like defend them, you don't want to go in with the wrong information. You don't want to go in thinking that this was a dire situation that you really needed to like put it all on the line for, when it's not that.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Exactly.
So, you know, and plus, we've said it so many times before, but like when you're talking to somebody, you like completely buy into their side.
Oh, yeah.
So you can form a grudge or an opinion about somebody that you don't know until you hear their side of the story.
Yeah.
But you might not ever. So you could be carrying around such a chip towards somebody else when it wasn't even the right story to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's really important like to realize that exaggerating is like, it's not good, and it does no favors again. And just to be like really wary of people who continually exaggerate, because like, you know, like you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Right. Well, I think, yeah, you kind of realize too, someone who talks a lot, and I don't mean like you're having a conversation, but like they talk so much, and they talk in circles, and then the story starts to change a little bit as they're talking. Yeah. And you're like, wait, I thought, and then, you know, that to me is just blatantly obvious. And I think it happens a lot with people who exaggerate, because they like the attention of the story that it's giving them. Yeah. So you got to make it bigger. You got to go harder. You got to get the attention. Also, it invokes sympathy from people. So, you know, you're getting, well, they did this to me and it hurt so bad, and they're, you know, they hate me. Yeah. That, you know, you've heard people say like they like any attention, even if it's negative. Right. A lot of people do that, I think, with stories too, and even against people, where they're like, they hate me. So it's just it's a big, you know, a big statement to invoke some emotion from the other person, because it's all you really want. You're just craving that attention, that need for somebody to be on your side, or even to be like, no, they don't hate you. No one hates you. They love you. Right. Because you just start craving and needing that attention. And I think that can be an example of an exaggeration, where you kind of have to be like, okay, we know that no one is hating you right now. Like, especially no one we're talking about. Like, you know, like, they don't hate you. Yeah. It's your family member. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, clearly they're not hating you. Right. And, you know, also I think people...
And, like, what part of this is them being hateful towards you, and what part did you bring on by your own actions?
Yeah, what's your part to play in this?
Are you facing consequences? Like, are they not letting you come to the party because you ruined the last 3?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's a good question.
Which percentage of this is a consequence, and which percentage of this is, like, real?
Oh, that's a great question, because I think a lot of people don't want to realize that there are consequences to actions. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, you know, these people don't ever look our direction when we're in the room. I don't think I necessarily want to be in the room anymore with you.
Man, I've been reading, well, I finished it. And when I say reading, I was listening to my friend Anna. Yeah. So, like, the story of, like, inventing Anna Delvey. And, man, she was
a trip.
She was going on so many different stories that she
was probably losing track.
She did kind of lose track, I think. The only thing that was consistent was, like, that she's such an artist and that she wants to open this foundation and blah, blah, blah. Like, her story was the same, but, like, where she came from, who her family was, what her connections were, what her job was, where the banks were, like, that was constantly changing. Like, is she German? Is she Russian? Is she...
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's why her
she
accent was crazy.
Yeah. She would get a little mixed up in her own lies there. But, like, as far as, like, the foundational, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm going for, that was consistent.
Yeah.
So that was so strong, I think that made people think, like, oh, no, she's legit, you know?
Right.
And then you see $100 bills flying around, and you're like, I think I can believe.
She's got money.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
I think I'm all in. And then she would just take you for a ride. And still is, apparently. Apparently she's out and she's trying again.
I think she's starting a podcast.
Probably.
That is something too.
The unfortunate part is she got money from that Netflix that was made about her.
That's nuts to me.
Okay.
I think this woman should be in jail for longer.
Yeah.
But that also goes to show you how powerful a lie can be. What you can do with a lie.
Yeah.
You know, and how people are vulnerable to believing those lies. Because a part of you, I think, wants to believe.
Yeah.
You know, especially like...
Well, of course, if you seek the good in people, like, you do want to believe that everybody is
even if you seek the bad. You know, if someone's coming at you with a story about someone that you've had your own problems with.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to believe that 100%. You're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, finally, someone else.
Someone's on my side.
Yeah, sometimes somebody can just irk you, and so you're, like, inclined to believe that any bad story about them is true.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this validates me.
Right. I've been guilty of that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Totally.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, that fits what I thought.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm right, but like...
Sometimes you're not. You know?
Yeah, and sometimes you're just totally not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you kind of have to think about where is this hitting in your own heart or your life that you're wanting to believe it. Because even if they are the worst person in the world, like, try to believe the best. You can still be nice. You can still be kind. You don't have to trust them.
Yeah.
But you can still be gracious.
Absolutely.
And loving.
Yeah.
Towards that person.
Yeah. For sure. I don't know. It's interesting because I'm like, remember what they say, you know, so that you don't get caught up in a web or a trap.
Right.
You know, just kind of like make note of what they say and what they've told other people and like kind of match them up in your head.
Yeah.
And then it's also like the Bible says love keeps no record of wrong.
Yes.
So it's like you're not trying to hold points or like make a book log of all the things that people do to you, but you also just want to like fact check yourself.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say it, and I do not remember where I heard this from. Okay, but it was somebody saying like anytime somebody did something wrong towards them or offended them or whatever, they would go home and they'd keep a journal of it.
Whoa.
And that they would go and reread it so that they don't gaslight themselves into believing that nothing wrong happened to them while they were there or like at this job or whatever. I'm like, y'all, that's a rough way to live.
Yeah, that's painful.
Like, because maybe it's not gaslighting yourself. Like, maybe that is...
Maybe you need to forget it.
Exactly. I'm like, maybe that is a built-in, like, survival mechanism.
Yeah.
Where you always think the future is going to be better and you can still look back on happy times.
Right.
But instead, you're looking back and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all this happened. My mind healed from it and I want to stir it up again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, please don't do that.
No, right. No, actually, I saw like a psychologist recently wrote something about that topic and how your body does you a favor by not remembering all the trauma that you've been through.
Yeah.
You know, whether little or big.
Yeah. Because
your body couldn't handle it. If your brain couldn't handle it if you remembered everything at one moment.
Yeah.
And so I think now they were probably trying to say also like there are certain parts that you do have to eventually get to and kind of work through. But I think if you're keeping a journal and you're like reading it constantly,
to reread.
Like your brain's never able to heal.
You're not giving people a chance to be human.
Exactly. What
you're
if
like,
someone had
I have
journal
a record.
about you?
I have a record of how many times you've messed up or how many things I've caught you in. It's like, oh my gosh, but I was just being human.
Exactly. Yeah, what about the times you accidentally were like said something to someone that offended them and you didn't even realize that it was offensive?
Yeah.
Then you're just, that's in the journal for life. Yeah. You know, that would suck. Yeah. No, thank you. But yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Also, like, are you
Wild.
going back and reading it all the time?
They were like I feel like they were like maybe a reporter or something. And they were like, I
Interesting.
want to be able to have dirt on people, and this is a good tactic to
That's
like.
a rough way to live.
I'm like, this is not doing you any favors.
No.
You need to find a new career if that's all you can do. Is
Exactly.
keep a journal of the dirty things people did to you
No.
and reread it.
How stressed your body must be. Actually, that was in a movie too. Have you ever seen the movie Devotion? Okay, well, the guy, one of the main characters in the movie, he also had a journal and did the same thing. He was like, this is all the stuff people say about me, and I repeat it to myself in the mirror so that I remember kind of like not where I came from, but like that I'm defeating that narrative or whatever. I'm like, that doesn't seem good. I think because again, when we talked about this before, you want to speak life over yourself, over your whole world. That's just speaking death constantly.
If you're going to do the journal thing and just have a story of everything that you've overcome, maybe you're trying to use it for good. Like, don't put who did it to you.
Yeah.
Be like, someone said this quote. Just put a quote.
Right.
And then your brain will probably forget who said it.
Maybe write it and write a letter to them and then like burn it.
Exactly.
Just like let it go. Honestly, look, there are things that people are going to do to you and it's going to hurt and it's going to be rough. But I think so many people think that they have to hold on to it for there to be justification. And if they let it go, then that justification will never happen.
Right.
But really what's happening is you're just hurting your own self. And you're never able to move on. And you're, for lack of a better word, you are being a victim.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is to let that go, despite the consequences, because you never know. They may still get that quote unquote justice that you were hoping for, but you are not living with that pain because there's also the possibility that they've moved on. They have no idea that you're even hurt with them. And you're just holding on to it, being miserable your whole life.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people do that. And I'm like, you know what? You can move on. You can be healed. Yeah, that sucked. And that was a terrible thing that happened to you. But you can move on.
And people can change. They could have been in their exaggerating, manipulative era. And they've changed and move on. They're in their honesty era.
Yes.
And you still think they're a liar. And you don't believe anything that
100%.
they're about. And it's like, but people can change. And they changed.
They really can. So you gotta give people the benefit of the doubt. And you also have to let your own self move on because I think we've talked about it before, but like stress and hurt and anger, those all do things to your body.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, I'm living with anger. No, like so many people are having their whole body shut down because they can't get past, some anger in their life.
I want to go into two things that are going to sound far out. One is a doctor in Spain. His name's Dr. Hilu. He's awesome. And I heard him on an interview. He has like this super intense microscope that sees like, I want to say like 40 times the amount of that American doctors look into your blood.
Whoa.
So he's like, I see formations and patterns in bloods and cells.
Wow.
Bloods.
Your bloods.
He said, I can see jealousy in people's blood. Like it looks like spikes and crystals. He said, because anything about you that feels emotion, your brain, like you have blood flow through it.
Right.
So it goes everywhere. Like your blood circulates through your brain, your toxic thoughts, and then goes into the rest of your body.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, it shows up in tumors and all kinds of stuff because your blood is literally different. It's like icy and brittle and like, it's like toxic. He's like, I can see jealousy. I can see anger and like trauma in the blood.
Whoa.
If you haven't like let go of it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And it's literally causing harm and ailments to your physical body.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is crazy.
It is crazy because I've also heard of people, they had some type of stress at one point in their life. Years go by. All of a sudden, their body shuts down. Yeah. They start having like debilitating panic attacks.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, their brain is like, we can't hide this stuff anymore. We've been covering up. We've been pushing it down. Now it's like our body can't handle it.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy to know that those things are very powerful. And you have to remember that, because you don't want to live like that. You could be doing all the most healthiest things. You're, working out all the time. You're eating healthy. And you wonder why your body is still so stressed out, so, overworked, so why you're depressed. Maybe there's some things that you're holding on to that you just need to let go, because your body's like, please, like, give me some freedom. And yeah, that is hard. It's not like, just do it. Like, I know. There's work that has to be done. Like, we talked about it before. Like, go to counseling. And it may take years. It may take time. But also know that, like, there's powerful, Jesus is powerful. And he can heal you. And he can help you forgive. Yeah. And you can move forward. And he can also help you with your tongue. Yeah. Tame the tongue. Like, the Bible talks about how powerful the tongue is. And
James 1, I think.
Yeah.
It's a rudder of a ship.
Yeah, and it's literally powered by, like, hell itself. Yeah, you know what literally. I mean? And so in order to tame it, it can be very difficult. But thankfully, the Holy Spirit can help. Yeah. And Jesus can help you. And so I think it's just important to remember to try to be your most honest self. Whether you feel like that is hard or not, or you feel like you're going to disappoint people. Like, maybe you just need to disappoint some people. You just need to be honest, Yeah. And see what happens. Are you going to melt away? No. Like, is it going to be hard? Sure. But you'll get past it and you'll move forward.
Yeah. I think, what do I want to say? I've got 3 trains that I could go on.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes if you grew up believing a lie that made things good for you, you don't want to go and find out the truth, because then you don't know what about your life could be true anymore.
True.
And I think is a scary place to be.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
For people in that situation. But I would just say, like, try to understand the truth and try to go back. And while it's like a painful truth to understand, try to see the hope in it. Yeah. And try to see, like, where was God in this moment and how does it make sense? Like, just because this one thing is true doesn't mean everything else has to unravel. Right. Just kind of like take it a step at a time, and you don't have to, I don't know, have your world crumble.
Yes.
Because that's very scary. Very, very scary. It's like, I don't want to start asking questions.
What am I going to find out?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
Because, you won't be, reliving these generational things. Your kids will live a different life, whatever the circumstance may be. Like, you'll have all of these tools in your belt to run back to and to use and to help you with your future and your family's future. And there's wisdom that comes with even all of these things. Like, those situations sucked, but now you know what is the right response and how to handle that, and like how to not be a victim or a liar, or whatever comes with all those things. Yeah. So again, and I think we kind of say this all the time, but it is important to be honest with yourself. Yeah. And when you can do that, you can see, okay, this is where I've been exaggerating. This is where I've been lying. This is where I've been lying to myself. Because that's the thing too. People lie to themselves constantly. And I think that's what helps them fuel those lies that they tell to other people. Because they truly believe these things about themselves. And, that's where it can be so easy to think everyone's the problem, because you're not looking at yourself. You're not saying, oh, maybe I was the problem in that situation. Maybe I'm the one who's always being irrational or the victim or lying to get my way. Or maybe I'm the one that's, talking about these people, and I was just projecting, saying they're talking about me. Yeah. When really they were just venting to someone about the truth. Right. Like, there's just different things, and you can blame other people for your problems. But I always say, if there are 10 people in the room and you're always the problem,
Yeah.
and you think it's the 10 people,
Yeah. It's the
you
one.
probably are wrong.
Yeah.
It's probably the one.
Yeah.
Because how did all these 10 people come up with the same conclusion?
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to look at the truth.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult because our brain wants to hide it. Our brain wants to make us feel like we're the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not true.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, no, I'm the most insecure person. That is also the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your insecurities are going to fuel this.
Yeah.
You know, pride it can look either very insecure or it can look very cocky.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same thing.
Mm-hmm. If you have been like this, you know, in a room with 10 people and you think everybody's the problem,
Yeah.
and you really want to grow, you really want to change, you're like, I don't know if it's me, but I want to find out.
It's me. Hi.
Okay. You're like, I want to find out. I'm ready
Yeah.
to figure out, am I the problem or am I not the problem?
What do you do?
I really want to put this to the test. Like, I would challenge you to try out some very light confrontation. Hey, can I set up a meeting with you? Hey, boss, I feel like you hate me.
Yeah.
And here are my case points.
Yeah.
Like, you don't look me in the eye, you don't smile,
Yeah.
I don't get the hours I want, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you give them the opportunity to be like, I'm sorry, that wasn't right. You
Yeah.
know, like, I just thought you reminded me of somebody else. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, yeah, well, you don't turn in your stuff on time. You're always late,
Yeah.
and I can't depend on you.
Right.
You know,
And those things are true.
Oh, okay, well,
You're probably right.
you know, you weren't just hating on me.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have valid points.
That's true. What would you say to someone who's like, okay, I've had a confrontation where I did set up a meeting with someone and, you know, maybe it's not a boss, but maybe it's a friend or something like that. And they deny all of these things that I've told them, the list that I brought up. They deny it all. Like, no, you're making that up, or no, that's not true, or I don't do that, or, you know, and then maybe they're kind of lying. How do you combat that?
I would say, like, first of all, okay, so in the next moment that I feel like this, do I have the liberty to bring that up with you and find out how I should interpret that? You know?
That's good. I
You
like
know,
that.
so give them
Yeah.
another chance of like, well, you did this again. Okay, so what did you mean by that? Because
I'm
in
feeling
this
way.
moment,
Yeah.
I want to do this.
That's
you
good.
know?
Yeah, that's good.
And if that doesn't work, like, I would bring in a third person,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and just be like, all right, so
This is what I'm hearing.
what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's good. I like that.
yeah. Am I being irrational, too sensitive, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, or not?
Yeah. That's great.
You know what I heard? This is crazy. And I'm not saying women can't have solid formed opinions that are legit, but you can hear things differently and experience things differently based on just what is going on in your body at the moment. And I heard this interview with this doctor, and he was saying basically, like, you are 4 different mindsets throughout the month.
Literally. I was actually just talking to Matthew
He's
about
like, so
this.
you're like 4 different people, you know,
Heck yeah.
in how you make decisions,
I
in
100%
how you
am.
process things, in how laid back or chill you are, in how motivated you are, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, like, to have a consistent woman is not necessarily, like, it's not a thing.
Yes. No, okay, this is so funny because I was just talking to Matthew about this the other day. I was like, you know, I understand where women have gotten the rep of being crazy because we have so many hormones going in our body. I feel like, and this probably is some work on my body that needs to be done, but I'm like, I feel like I have one great week out of the month.
Yeah.
The other 3 are a little bit tainted by either, you know, wild emotions or feeling sad or like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then there's like that one in between where I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And it really does. Like, sometimes I have to be aware of that where I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this way right now. in a couple of days, am I gonna still feel this way, or is it just emotions happening?
Totally. And the truth of it, that's like hard. He's like, I'm not saying that women can't be like CEOs.
Yeah.
But the ones who realize like what is actually going on will say, hey, I should not be making decisions that affect the company on this week.
That's good.
Because this is not in my rational era.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people would not agree with that, but like I think that's
but he's
so
like
accurate.
An emotionally stable woman like is not like quit trying to say that.
Yeah,
because by design you will change throughout the month.
Wow.
So if you want somebody who's always going to be like the same, it's probably going to be a dude.
It's true. They are like my husband. He's the most consistent person. I'm like. Could you just, I'm like, I feel like I have always been a pretty stable person.
Yeah.
And then I got married and I was like, oh my gosh, you're the most stable person.
Yeah.
And so, I'm the crazy one.
I'm not saying you don't have value to bring, you can't make decisions or can't even be a CEO, but I'm just going back to like bring in a third person because you could be like, this could just be my crazy week. Yeah. And I'm not saying, I don't want to say crazy. This could just be my like very sensitive week or very empathic week. And I'm like reading way too far into this. So I need somebody to say like, no, it was just the empath.
Right. Because there's also like paranoia that happens too. Yeah. You start getting paranoid, like the list goes on. If you just read, symptoms of a period. Yeah. Good Lord. Wow. It's crazy. It's frightening.
It's spooky. It's real. It's reality.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
So that is true. Mm-hmm. So that is helpful to know. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that is like, I feel empowered by it.
Safety in a multitude of counselor.
It's so true. And even like, I think, there are emotional guys out there. Yeah. And no, they don't have a period or anything, or they don't have hormones that are, well, I mean, they do, but like not like us. But there still are some that are more, I've seen, more sensitive or emotional than others, and they kind of create this drama. Mm-hmm. They also could use bringing in another person, Yeah. So really, it doesn't hurt for anyone to do such a thing. Yeah. But when you do that, I think you do have to do it well. The person bringing a third person is not to be like, well, they're blah, 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 and they did this, and they're horrible. Yeah. No, like, it needs to be discussion. Like, you need to talk about it.
Neutral
present
third party.
Your problems. You don't have to be like, they are. You can be like, you have done these certain actions towards me, and it's made me feel like you were blah, 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 blah. But I know that can't be who you are. Right. I just want to check.
A neutral third party person. Yeah.
Don't go in angry.
Right.
Maybe give it a couple days or something.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyway, that is all we have to say about lying.
Yeah. Fun topic.
Yeah.
This came from a porch chat.
It's a heavy one.
Looking at the Texas sky, and we were like, what about liars? Mm-hmm.
And then it started flowing. So.
All right, guys. Well, we have some vacationing to get back to.
Yeah.
So, hope you enjoyed this video episode. It's been a fun one.
It's been great. It's been a fun spot.
Yep.
Love it. It actually went by pretty quickly.
Make sure to say, it did. We were at 30 minutes and I was like,
this
is going to be a while. And now we're a minute and 3.
Yeah.
So.
A minute and 3. An hour and 3.
That. All right. Well, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. That's a new one for us. That's where we're putting our video podcast, as well as Spotify. You can get them there. And other than that, we'll be back next Thursday with a brand new episode. And we love you guys.
Bye. See
you later. Bye. Thanks for listening today. Make sure that you're following us at Honesty Club Podcast on Instagram, or check out our website, thehonestyclub.com, to be a part of future episodes.
You can submit an idea for a topic or write in with a story for us to share.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a review, or share it with a friend.
See you next Thursday.